have to go get a hat. Look at this shine. I'm a hat girly. I'm not doing this without it. Happy now. I think it's crooked, but I feel good about it. Is it crooked? Oh, probably. So, why am I here? Oh, I'm going to take you through the stable build and how it came to be. That's the cabin. Ta-da! This is my stables. It started off as a pole shed, had a roof and some poles and a dirt floor and a whole lot of crud in it, crap, rubbish, other people's rubbish when I bought the property. It was the days of Instagram when I was building this, so there's quite a few vertical videos and pictures, and I apologize in advance. But this is a stable build and how far I've gotten, and I've still got a little bit left to do on it, but you'll get the gist. I've always got a few things on at once, so this gravel was arriving to create a little flat pad for the cabin that was arriving, and I got these posts just for the cabin to sit on temporarily while I'm working on it. Once all the rubbish was gone, these posts were still here, and thankfully the original owners removed them for me because they were concreted into the ground. I think they were planning to maybe live in this shed, and that was supposed to be a massive pizza oven, so they tell me. And it had a big concrete table on top, which was massive. Here's a picture of the concrete slab on top of those posts, and it's covered in plastic. I never actually saw it without the plastic on. I didn't look underneath when I was viewing the property, so I'm not sure what it really looked like. Although it would have been really cool to have a massive pizza oven, it wasn't the right spot for me and the view that I had for the property. This is the stable layout that I decided on. Top left hand corner is where of stable 1 is where the door into the tack room is, so there's a little walkway there. Stable 2 and 3 are slightly narrower than stable 1, and I did that purely because stable 1 is a bit shorter, so it still has around about the same amount of room. These yards are actually removable because I wanted this to be a multifunctional space, and I'll show you further down the track how that is going to work. But you can put them in or bring them out and use it as a one big bay at 10 metres, or have 1, 2 or all 3 stables installed. I was very excited this day. The timber for the framing and for the exterior arrived. The exterior is just rough sawn timber, and it was board and batten. I can't remember the specs, but I wanted really large boards and smaller battens, and it was really cost effective. Definitely rate it if anyone is looking into it. Just go along to your sawmill prior and check out the quality of the rough sawn. This was not very rough in comparison to what I'd seen in other places. This feels like an early Christmas present. Look at all this framework. The timber framing was all done by my mum's partner. They'd recently moved to the region and he was after a bit of work, so I gave him a job putting up my framework. I was working full time, so I didn't have the time to help out with it at that stage. Down a little bit. Yeah. So we've got the first few battens on. This is the northern facing wall. I've kept it open because in summer Tolaga gets really hot, so I want the breeze. And then we've just got to line the rest of the wall, and then it's time for a paint job. This is the shed with the walls up. This is a lime rock floor, and my flatmate at the time had a little digger. He was kind enough to bring it round, flatten it out for me, and get it all prepped for laying the sand, the plastic and the mesh, so then we could concrete it. Matey, there are plenty of other options to get out of this place. It's a big open shed. So inside the stable, where the string line is, this is going to be a tack room and a bit of a shed. with a roller door, and then a little people door coming into the rest of the stable, which will all be concrete. That's some sand to line the floor, and then the concrete, and then it'll be walls on. Little progress report on the stables. So the inserts, these are going to be where the removable posts go, are concreted in, and we're pretty much ready for the concrete. First concrete truck has arrived. I think we had 3 in total. These guys in Gisborne, they were amazing. I think it's Anzac Contracting, it was who I used. Definitely rate them. They came a long way. They pumped out the job and it looks amazing. So stoked with it. And I even made them some cookies, which they really liked. I also needed a little bridge put in to get across to where the tanks were. So I had some extra concrete. The guys put it in the foundations for this wee bridge, and all of the excess went into this little concrete pad out the back. Being so far from town, they couldn't just take it to another job and put it in there. So it was just lucky that I had this bit of a hole behind the shed that I could dump the rest of that concrete in so it wouldn't harden in their truck. And eventually I'll probably put a lean-to over it anyway and concrete the rest, so there's no harm, no foul there. The old concrete's all done. Those little bits, those are the brackets that the posts will go in for me stables, so they're removable, and then I can just put caps back in them. But there's going to be rubber mat all over the floor as well, so those little edges won't even be seen. Shed update. Concrete is finished. They'll have to come back and cut the lines in it, but it's pretty good. My little holes for the posts, the brackets there. Here's the little people door into the tack room. It's got a mesh screen door, a fly net door on it. I just wanted to keep airflow in there quite nice and fresh. That's also where the solar unit lives, so I didn't want it to get too hot. I needed some light in the tack room, but I didn't want to break up the entire wall with windows in the way because of storage. So I just popped them down the far end, which is actually facing the south wall, and that's plenty of light for the tack room, plus ceiling lights going in. Eventually I did manage to finish putting all the battens up over the boards and finished off with painting or staining the shed this rustic oak colour over top of the pine timber, and I think it's come up really nice. So that concludes where I've got to thus far. I've just got to sort out doing the brackets for the stables at the moment and bird-proof the tack room. It's my main priorities.